if you don't think you're built for it, it's just because you haven't built it yet. Try it. Start somewhere. Starting somewhere is always going to be better than not starting at all. And you never know until you try. And seconding on to that is don't just try it once. Try it multiple times and really give it the true shot it deserves. Everyone's a beginner the first time that they try something. You never know what's going to come out of it. But give yourself the grace to make mistakes and to fail a few times, to give yourself that chance to really succeed in that, because most likely you will. Like people who keep trying, they don't fail. They succeed. You will succeed if you keep trying it. So that's what I would say, I guess, for that.
I love that. Welcome to another episode of the Bucket List Fit Podcast. I'm really excited to be having my conversation today with Sara Saubert. We actually first met each other at Hilton Head Health. That's where my day job is. And back in, what year was it, Sara?
2019.
2019, Sara did her fitness internship there. I was the fitness coordinator at the time and really got to know her there. Awesome person. We're both from Chicago, so we've got that in common. And Sara's accomplished quite a bit of amazing things since then. And I just wanted to talk to her about that, catch up a little bit with her, hear about some of these goals, and also inspire you out there to maybe try some of the goals that Sara's tried. So Sara.
Aw, I love that. Thank you for that introduction. I'm very excited to be on here, and I feel honored that you and I have really kept in touch despite my short initial time living here in Hilton Head, that we have found a way to always keep in touch throughout the last, almost 7 years now, and still find a way to keep connected our passion for fitness and health and really become friends along the way. So
I couldn't agree more. Have you heard there's people that come in your life for a reason, a season, a lifetime? Yes. Even though we were really only together physically at Hilton Head Health for 4 months or 16 weeks, I feel like you left such a big impact and impression. We've done so well at keeping in touch. We actually still work together virtually.
Yeah, that's true.
For the remote coaching program there, but yeah, there's just it. I can't wait to talk to you today.
Yes, me too. Well, thank you.
So Sara, I know that you kind of got your start as a dancer.
Yeah.
Kind of take us back, but prior to you entering the fitness space, just take us back. You were a dancer. Yes, what took you from dancer to entering the fitness space?
Dancer. So I was a normal girl. I actually got into dance.
Your origin story.
My origin story. I got into dance actually when I was 4. And in all honesty, it was one of those things, like my mom, when I was little, she's like, what do little girls like to do? She needs to be in an extracurricular activity. And dance was what she thought of. And I'm so glad for it, because I think it really shaped me as who I was. But dance to me was just something that I did for fun. I loved it. It gave me part of my social circle. It was enjoyable for me. I loved listening to music and moving my body in that way. I actually can't remember if I told you before, but I used to also do some competitive figure skating.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, so I did that for several years. But to me, that's very similar to dance. There's choreography, there's music, there's skills. They really went hand in hand together. Ultimately, I kept going with dance. But before I really considered that fitness, it was like my sport. It was activity. It was movement. But for me, it was an outlet of fun, an outlet way to move my body and to challenge myself in a lot of ways, because we did competitions and recitals, and you're always trying to make the choreography, more difficult as you grow older and you get more skills, or immersing myself in different kinds of dance. I did, jazz and lyrical. I point shoes, not for a long amount of time. Point, I don't think it was for me.
Is that really hard on the feet?
It's the one that's really hard on the feet. I think it's one of the most beautiful and most enduring things that a dancer, a ballet dancer especially, can do. But it has to be your passion, in my opinion, to really do point. And at this point of my life, it was something I wanted the fun. I wanted to just challenge myself and move my body in different ways. So before fitness, that really was what my life was. It was dance 5-6 times a week, all the way basically through college. And it was in college, not until college, until I really got into a more structured fitness space.
So before you even got into fitness, you had been crossing off the bucket list of the dance world.
Yeah, in a way.
Those different kind of dance. Although I do know you were telling me recently, ballroom dance you haven't really gotten into yet.
No, and it's on That's been on my vision board for a few years. I'm not going to lie to you. And I have not done it yet. And I need to just do it. But I thought about this a few years ago because I'm, years out of college already. And that's something I think a lot of people can relate to is when you're in a sport, and I consider dance a sport, and you finish it in high school or college, unless you have a plan to keep moving, a lot of people get abruptly cut off with their movement. And I think it can make you feel a little lost of where you're going. So for me, a couple of years later, even though I was still getting into fitness, strength training, kind of moving my avenue a little bit, I had the longing for dance. And I was like, I need to find a way to get back in it. So that is kind of a journey that I've started a few years ago and I'm still on. I'm still trying to find ways to challenge myself in the dance world. I still feel it in me. I really feel like once a dancer, you're always a dancer. And I've always lived by the motto that anyone, any age can dance because there's so many different kinds. And you're never too old to dance. You're never too not able to dance. I think it's something for everyone. So I kind of had to ramp myself up and be like, just because I might not have all the same skills I maybe once had, that doesn't mean I couldn't get it back, or it doesn't mean that I can't try something new. And I love Dancing with the Stars. And I watched this season. Yeah. And Alex Earl, watched her. I love her. I think she's so funny. So it kind of invigorated something in me. And I was like, that's it. I'm doing ballroom dancing 2026. I'm taking a class. So my plan is to do a couple personal lessons just to I've never done it before, so it'll be a new skill for me, but just to get myself in the mind space of like trying something new with being a beginner at something again, even though I wasn't a beginner at dance, but I will be in this avenue of dance.
How different, well, I guess you haven't done it, but how different is ballroom dance to the other style of dances?
I think what's different, at least for me, not doing it before, is, well, one thing is similarities. There's lots of technique and skill, as there is in any other dance. But the way I look at it is I did jazz, contemporary, point, ballet, hip hop, all different kinds. And I view ballroom as its own umbrella. And then within ballroom, you have all the Latin,
like these subcategories.
All these subcategories. So to me, it's like a whole different ball game. And it's like, just because you're good at those things, these over here that I did, doesn't mean it will always exactly transfer over. I think it's a new set of skills that I have to learn. So that's like the biggest difference, at least me not taking it yet, what I think. Does
it excite you? Does it scare you?
I love a challenge.
Yeah.
I think challenges keep me going. And I think that is something I look forward to, trying something new. I feel like if you're not trying something new, if you're not challenging yourself, I always am kind of like, well, where am I going next? I get a little antsy.
Yeah. You need some direction.
I need some direction. And I think that's what dance has always given me. It gives me the discipline and the routine. And maybe because I had that for so many years growing up, I mean, that's what I crave. I like to have the routine. I like to have the challenge, but I need something new. If I always took the same jazz or ballet class and they never taught me a new skill or harder choreography, I think I would have gotten bored. And that's why I think I like that. I like when someone gives me that challenge. So it excites me because I want to master something else. Maybe not master it. I want to try something else and see how good I can get at it.
So you kind of picked on two different things in using dance, but really in anything that you're doing, it's either within the discipline, how do I level up to the next thing, or how do I challenge myself in a new discipline?
Right, exactly. And I think that's really transferred over to, from me going from mostly dance, because I still dance some, I take some classes and stuff, but to mostly like strength training. I think that really transferred over that discipline. I mean, if you're someone that's grown up in dance, and I'm sure a lot of other sports too, it's a lot of consistency. You have a lot of classes or what's the word? Like however many times you have to meet per week, for that sport. And you have to do it all the time. And it's hours long. And it just builds your discipline and consistency right off the bat. But with dance specifically, it's the repetition and routine. When you learn a dance, you are doing the same dance for however many months it takes you to get to the recital or to the competition. And once you do that, you get your feedback. And then you work on it for another prolonged amount of time to fix those things, to do better. at the competition. And to me, that's what's different from some other sports, is every game's got to be a little different. You know, you don't know exactly what's going to happen. Dance, you want to know what's going to happen. It's a routine. And I think that's really transferred over great to when I got into strength training, because when you're learning how to strength train those foundational exercises, the repetition is best. Like, you want to be able to do those same things over and over, get stronger at those foundational exercises. And I think it can get boring if you don't have that mindset already. So for me, it was like perfect. It's actually a known common thing that you might have heard, actually, where dancers will go to strength training.
Is that common?
It is.
Is that right? Have you seen that, like, in your friends? Okay.
I've seen it in my friends, and I've seen it a lot on social media, that like dancers, where are you now?
Former dancers are now.
And they're strength training. And I think part of that is because...
And that's your story too.
And it's mine too, because we craved the routine, and we're already good at repetition. We like some repetition.
There's technique involved.
You can still progressive overload it. You still are challenging yourself, making it harder, or adding progressions to it or variables. But you're not afraid of the repetition. It doesn't bore you. You know that it's part of, you know, the way to get better at it. So I think that transferred really well for me. So
the approach to the discipline, there's a lot of overlap. But, well, really quick. I have a question about that, but really quick. You mentioned Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
I know I've told you a little bit, but I've been invited to be on Dancing with the Stars. Yeah. Local Dancing with the Stars in Bluffton.
He's a real star.
That's right. It'll be televised on Bluffton TV.
I can't wait to see that.
So
I'll be texting that phone number for David's vote.
Yes. And I'll probably be calling you to be like, or Marco Poloing you, like, this is what we did today. What do you think? You know?
I'll be in my dance room classes taking some tips from you.
There we go. And then the second thing I want to tell you, I don't know if I told you this or not, but my wife, Lucia, who obviously you know, she did not, this kind of goes back to what you were saying about, like, anyone, any age can become a dancer. When she was a kid, she was really nervous about dancing, didn't really like to, like, jump out when everyone was dancing and be out there. She just kind of liked to stay, like, in the corner against the wall, or just not really out there, you know?
Yeah.
And her mom would try to encourage her to dance, but, you know, she would be a little bit rebellious, like, don't tell me what to do, Mom, kind of thing. And she just never really quite got into the dance, but deep down she really wanted to. And so for our wedding, she really, really wanted to do a choreographed dance.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And part of her was to prove something to herself, and also to show to her mom and to others, like, I can dance, you know? Because she hasn't viewed herself as, like, a musical person, but she's performed a lot on aerial silks and other things and, like, other forms. But there was something about just doing a choreographed dance in front of family and friends, you know, that really scared her. And it was a challenge she wanted to do. So we signed up for, I think it was ballroom. I don't know. It was just, we signed up for an instructor to choreograph a dance for us. And we would show up, do the routine, and we would get better. And like you said, it's like, once you get the routine, you get it. And sure enough, at our wedding, we did that for our first dance.
That's so cool. A new avenue for her. But I would consider her a dancer. Silks is no joke.
For sure. Oh yeah, she's a performer, and it translated. But to your point, it scared her because it was a different type of performance.
Did I tell you that I did take my first silks class?
Did you really?
Yeah, and it was hard. I thought of Lucia.
What did you think?
It was awesome.
How were your hands after?
You know what? My hands were okay. Okay. Because my grip strength is pretty good actually from strength training. Now the hardest part was where we did it. So it was really cool, but in Texas, I think I went in January.
Which is where you live now.
Which is where I live now, but there was a cold front. And
in January.
Yes.
That's okay.
And we pulled up, and it was like this barn with an open top.
Open top?
Yeah, and it was about 30 degrees out. But I was like, oh, you know, I'm sure it's going to be enclosed.
So were there just like beams but no ceiling?
There was like a fake ceiling, like one of the glass ones, but it was completely, there was like, you know, feet of open air.
Oh, wow.
So when we got in there, it's freezing. It was freezing. And the silks were there, but it took me like so long to even slightly warm up because my hands were cold. That was the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
But what I did try, it took me almost the whole class, but I was very proud, is the climbing of the silk. Yeah. She tried to teach us her little routine. It went okay. It was really cool, though. Like, I had an appreciation for the people that do that and make it look like nothing.
Effortless, yeah.
Like effortless.
Yeah.
And knowing, like, I love trying stuff like that because you really appreciate how much work gets put into a skill like that looks easy.
I feel, yes, I love the way you said that. I feel like that's so common in like the performing arts or performing athletics or fitness. Like there's a lot of moves and skills that like take a lot of discipline and effort and are really hard, but if you've never tried it, it doesn't look like it's hard.
Right.
And then something that's like really fundamental to the practice looks really impressive. For example, let me give you an example. In silks. In silks, like doing the splits is considered very fundamental. Like most people who get into silks, you just got to get flexible and you can do it.
Yeah.
But it's the thing that gets the biggest applause from people who have never tried silks. Like if you go up there and do the splits, but meanwhile, if there's like some other like thing where you're tying yourself and like people just don't get it. Is there anything like that in dance? Like have you felt that too, where it's like,
oh,
I got an applaud on that really easy thing.
Oh my gosh, there definitely is. Like there'll be some. So an example will be like, let's say a trick that always gets a lot of applause, an aerial. You know, like the no-handed cartwheel. People are always like taken aback by someone doing.
It looks amazing.
An aerial because it looks amazing, and you're like, your first thought is like, wow, I can't.
Can you do an aerial?
No, I can't.
Oh,
yeah.
I think they're amazing too.
No, I've like almost done one, but I never went that trick route. Like I did a lot of other things that I would practice. A lot of turn was like my specialty, and jumps was my specialty. But an aerial is something that always gets a lot of applause. But you'll see someone do the most complicated like movement on the floor. Like it could be a whole integral thing that goes from one movement to another movement. It's just like amazing to me. And to everyone, they're just like, oh, cool, you know, floor movement. But they don't realize like how hard it takes to, for example, like musicality, to hit all of those different movements on an exact part of the music on purpose. Yeah. You know, and I think that's something that if you don't know what to look for, if you're not a dancer watching a dancer, those things might like slide over.
The appreciation
and they see the big tricks.
There.
Like,
yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Tricks are always a great way to.
Exactly.
But yeah, there's an appreciation element for a lot of these. Like,
I'll give you one trick that always gets like, that I can do.
That you can do, okay.
That I can do is, it's basically a headstand. So you're on your head, your feet fold forward in front of you, so you're at a 90-degree angle, like and then you flip up into a kip up.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's cool.
You can do that?
I can do that.
Okay.
Yes.
I got to see this.
Oh.
Not right now. Okay. But sometime this week.
Yeah, sometime this week. Yeah, I'll show you. I'll tell you. I'm a little rusty probably, so let's try it. I had to do that for a competition, and that's something that I feel like when it's something that it's like a big wow moment, those are the things that people are like really, you know, taken aback by. Yeah. Even if it's just a skill, like riding a bike, once you get it.
You can do it.
You get it, like the splits.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, all right, well, going back to the transition you were making earlier of how fitness translates or dance translates so well into fitness and strength training, how did you initially try strength training, or how did you start entering into that world? Yes,
so it was actually the actual physically getting into more structured fitness outside of dance was right before college. And funny enough, it was my then boyfriend, now husband. And
hey, Tim.
Yeah, hey, Tim. So he asked me to go to the gym one day, and I was like, okay, like whatever. Didn't really think I had never even stepped in a gym before.
Really?
Like, yeah, because dance was my thing. Like fitness wasn't, working out was dance for me. Mm-hmm. And I still remember, I was 16 at the time. And I remember going in there and I was like feeling kind of timid all of a sudden. Like I just felt the intimidation of the atmosphere. It was at a Lifetime. Have you ever been to a Lifetime?
Yeah.
So it's not really that intimidating an atmosphere, but I was intimidated because I had never been to one. And I remember maybe he was trying to impress me. And he started doing heavy squats right away. And I had never even done a squat before. And you know, some guys when they're working out, especially heavyweight, they're like grunting or like making some noises. And I remember like looking around like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. I was just not used to that atmosphere at all.
So were you impressed or were you like,
I think I said something like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm squatting. So that's my only memory I have of the first time. So safe to say, like, I wasn't that impressed by the gym at first. But over time, he would take me here and there. And I think I started doing some movements with him, very fundamental movements. And I don't think a lot of barbell weight either, like a lot of dumbbell stuff where I felt more comfortable. Some machines, you know, where a lot of people start off at the gym to feel comfortable. And so funny enough, it stayed like that for like a year or so, maybe even 2. And when I went into college, I'll never forget. So I studied exercise science. That's what I got my bachelor's in. But I was undeclared for a year when I was a freshman. And then my second year, still didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just wasn't sure. I wanted to be a teacher for the longest time. And then I just switched my mind, but I didn't know what I was switching to. So second year, I've always been really good at science. So I did biology for my sophomore year. And then I switched schools. And I was like, I don't even know if I want to do biology. And I don't know. I wasn't one of those people who grew up from a young age like, I want to be X. It just wasn't who I was. So I remember having this meeting with some advisor lady I had never met. And she's like, well, we're really booked on appointments and you need to pick a major right now. And I'm a junior in college now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, well, this new school, I'm like, what majors do you have? She slides me a sheet with like a long list. And she said, okay, you can pick one right now. There's people behind me waiting for like
to pick their major.
Or for something, yeah, for some appointment.
All these undeclareds in line.
Yeah, so I was like feeling the stress a little bit. And I remember reading through, just looking for something that would reach out to me. And exercise science was on here. Had never heard of that as a major. And my mind literally went, well, I like science and I like exercise. So I guess I'm going to, do this. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, so she calls someone up. And she told me that they had to transfer over my GPA and credits, and I had to write some little essay to see if I could get in the program. And long story short, I did it and it worked out and they accepted me into the program. And from that point, I feel like is when really my fitness launched forward, going much more in depth. I picked the right field. I ended up being a passion for me. I think that's one of those things where the stars just aligned for me and that was meant to happen. The school I went to, which is Illinois State University, ended up being a top program for exercise science.
They have a circus there.
Yeah, right. They have a circus there, which I didn't know any of that before going. Loved my professors. So my last 2, and I got very lucky because my biology credits all transferred over for biology, anatomy, stuff like that. So I got to take so many kinesiology classes and biomechanics. So they have a really, really cool like lab in there for biomechanics where you get to put the dots on you and it like watches your movements, and they have like an underwater thing. It's so cool. Like the DEXA scan, so many cool things at that university that I got to learn and have the opportunity for. So during that time is when I also got my first job at their gym, at their rec center.
At ISU's gym.
At ISU's gym, yep. And that's when I started going like really consistently and started saying, well, if I'm majoring this, I need to, walk the walk. I got
embody it.
Yeah, I got to embody. I got to learn how to do these movements. So that's really when I started going like multiple days a week. I was also on their dance team, and what was really cool is I got to bring some strength into dance. So they kind of made me the fitness person at my in my dance team. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
So
the strength coach.
Cool. Yeah, the strength coach, which was needed because anyone who dances, you asked before kind of what transferred over. Well, 2 of the biggest things transfer over that really help in dance, and it was my leg strength that I already had from dance because of all the jumps that I had to do and stuff like that, and just leg work, hip flexors, like lifting your legs, stuff like that. But core was the biggest one. I think that's something when people start strength training, they don't always realize it comes from the core. They might not always have a super strong core, but dancers have like a rock solid core. Yeah. And that really helped me with my strength going quickly to advance. I think where we lacked, speak for myself, is my upper body. like 5 pounds was feeling heavy. You know what I mean? Yeah. For those curls, it's all in my experience for dance. A lot of times it's meant for grace or to look powerful, but there wasn't a lot of weight loaded or body weight loaded, even
like power poses.
Yeah, on my upper body. So that's where I had the biggest learning curve on how to use like the upper half of my body. My first pull-up was horrendous. That was a bucket list movement I had for the longest time. I saw you training
for that. Yeah, you would post about that.
Oh my gosh, over like almost 10 years 10 years ago is when I tried my first push-up, I think. And I think I like 2 inches up. Yeah. Just like barely.
Well, how long from like the moment you like were like, I'm going to intentionally train for this until you got your first pull-up?
Intentionally? Within a year.
Within a year, yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot of, a few years of one-off, like, oh, here's a pull-up bar.
Yeah.
Let me jump and see if I can do one.
Right.
And then when I finally decided, no, I want to do like a pull-up, I would do it every week, like practicing, with bands
Yep.
at first. And
whatever the next benchmark was.
Yeah, whatever that next benchmark was. And was able to hit my first one. And quickly from there, I realized once I got that first one, it became much easier to add and then do sets of multiple pull-ups. And
do you still have that skill today?
I still have that skill today, which I'm very proud of because I think I've told you before where almost 2 years ago, I stopped going to the gym, which for me is crazy because I considered myself a gym rat for years. Like that was my identity. Yeah. I had a fitness Instagram that was like gym rat was my thing. And a little over 2 years ago, it was very odd. I think, again, one of those things where the stars aligned. I'd been getting in a lot of ruts and I was like, I need something new and I just need a break from it. So I never stopped working out. I still did a lot of strength training.
You're just not doing like the barbell weights.
Well, I was very lucky where I actually had weights at home.
Okay.
So I had weights at home. So I never stopped strength training, but just the atmosphere I took a break from, like the gym environment. I didn't have, the machines. And
like you stopped going to a public gym.
Stopped going to a public gym. So I still used barbells, still used dumbbells. What I didn't have was like pull-up bars, cables, and all the extra equipment. So it was very foundational for me. But I was very proud because a whole full year passed before I even stepped in the gym. I still have only gone in twice in the last 2 years. And I was able to do my pull-ups. Mm-hmm. And that was like exciting for me. Yeah, really. Because it was one of those things like I haven't practiced even the motion because I still don't own a bar to do it. So, and that is, you get better at something by practicing it. So I wasn't sure if the skill would still translate over, but it has. So I'm like, what I'm doing is still working.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about like calisthenics or body weight skills on your bucket list. Because once you get it, as long as you stay active, you're probably not going to lose it. Like it's going to take a lot for you to lose it. Like,
yes.
Like even like the handstand. We were just talking about that before we hit record. Yeah. I used to, similar to your pull-up, like I would try like once every few months without an intentional plan, but like I would just like fall right over. But as soon as I like did an intentional plan and got the handstand, now like I can go a few months without having tried it and I can pop up and like be pretty good.
I think that's a great realization to have though. Yeah. That's one of the many things stopping going to the gym as of right now has taught me is I think I had a worry to stop going. Like I was going to all of a sudden lose all my skills and strength. And one of the things that taught me is if I stay active and I'm still doing something and still working on the movements, even in a little bit of a different way, I'm not going to lose it. Right. I'll still be able to do, that skill. And I think mentally that was something good for me to learn.
It's awesome. You experienced that firsthand. It's like it's so much harder to actually get the skill than it is to keep the skill.
Right. Yeah. Right. Like the bike.
Like the bike. Yeah.
I still remember doing riding my bike.
So you went from dancer, gym was a little weird, people were grunting in there, to
but I went for a long time though.
But it didn't stop you.
Yeah.
Then you like fully became gym rat, like and exercise science. Like this is your, and then you were like, you were afraid that if you didn't go to the gym, it would, were you afraid, what were you afraid of?
Yeah, I think for me, so my very long stint of being, and I never like to say never, so I'm never saying I'm not going back to a gym. Just like right now, I'm just cruising with what I'm doing, I'm enjoying it.
You've got your workout at home. And
yeah, it's just working for me right now. But in about the 8-ish years that I was going consistently to the gym, I had kind of a lot of phases, you can say. It started with, just learning the foundation, going with Tim a lot, copying what he was doing before I really learned. And I had like a random powerlifting like phase. I never competed, but my friend who did powerlifting had a program and we did it together. And it's just so crazy to think back now because we were like maxing out like deadlifts and squats every week. Like it was insane.
Just and one rep maxing every week?
Literally. Yeah. They had it. I still don't exactly know like who wrote that program. But it
must have been exhausting.
It was insane. I'm not gonna. It was 6 days a week was this program, and every other day was a squat day and a deadlift day. And I was going back and forth, and then you'd have. I think your one rep max was only once a month, but you were doing 2 to 3 max reps every week, which is almost the max.
Yeah.
And then some of the movements was however many percentage, maybe 70 or 80% of your max for as many reps. So I was doing like 225 for like 25 reps, like on the daily. I'm like, is this a good thing I'm 22? Like, at the time.
I can handle it now.
Yeah, I can handle it now. So that was something I did. Then I went into like all aesthetics bodybuilding. I think part of this for me is this was my first real job in the fitness space. I felt like, yes, I went at the rec center at school, but this was like a public gym. I got my job in, this was right after I was an intern. So I went, well, that I would consider that was intern, but that was still really my first like real position. But then I was a personal trainer, and you know, the gym's just a different breed. It puts you in a different mind headspace depending on where you're at. And the one I was at was like total bro gym space.
And you were in it.
And I was in it. I was in it to win it. I was like, I want to do all the body. I had, you know, the 6-day split, back and buys, chest and tries. I was loving every minute of it though. Like I had so much fun.
I remember you posting about that.
Yeah.
You were pretty good. Yeah.
I mean, that time in my life, I was privileged to have the luxury of time. Like when I wasn't training somebody, I was just lifting. You know, it was literally a couple hours a day. Dedicated. And at that time in my life, I think it was perfect. Like for me, it was a new challenge, something I had never done before. One of the, outside of dance, I think it was one of the first times physically that I pushed myself in that way. Mm-hmm. Whether it was, you know, to lift a certain way or, you know, to look a certain way with my muscles or whatever. So that was really cool for me. And I did that for a few years. But somewhere along the way, I think I wasn't wanting to go that extreme anymore in powerlifting or bodybuilding, just because different season of life. I wasn't working there anymore. I was doing something else. Had a little less time, you know, I didn't have 3 hours a day to dedicate. But I think I was a little lost on, well, what am I working towards? And like I mentioned to you, I like having something to work towards. And it ended up being a few years of going just to maintain what I was doing. But I didn't have that fun challenge. And just at that time, I don't know, even the repetition, became too much for me. I started to almost resent like a workout if I felt like I if I didn't have a good lift. Mm-hmm. Or if I started getting tired really quickly. I think there were lots of factors that in it, but ultimately it wasn't working for me anymore at that time in my life. And I'm someone who's very good at listening like to their gut. And sometimes for me, I've noticed things will happen like kind of a snap overnight. So it was one day I was like, something needs to change and it's going to be me not going to the gym anymore. Wow. And it was from one day to another. So I went from going 5 to 6 days for however many, 7, 8 years to not even once. At this point, I was actually living in Colorado. And I started working out in the garage with the equipment that was there. So I started lifting there and still doing what I can. My dog was with me, so I had my buddy, listened to my own music. I started getting vitamin D because I would do it, outdoors, fresh air. All of that was new to me. The biggest thing, I know it's going to sound a little vain, there were no mirrors. I stopped worrying about how I looked or how I looked like to others, even though I didn't know I was thinking that. I think subconsciously,
if they're there, you're going to look
right. If they're there, I'm going to look exactly. Yeah. So from that, the focus really started to be like, well, how are you feeling in this workout? Whereas before it was like, how am I performing and looking during this workout? And I think for me, that was like the biggest shift. When I started to look at it that way, well, all of a sudden I was like, well, I'm wanting to do some yoga and I'm wanting to add in some Pilates because I wanted to feel more flexible and more mobile. And because I was outside, naturally I started going on walks and even a couple of runs and stuff like that. Just because the fresh air felt nice. Oakley, my dog, my bestie, was there. So I had to get him some exercise. And I think that's when things really snowballed into this new season of my fitness life, is because I started to focus on like more of inside how I'm feeling and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's been a big change.
It's fun hearing about your journey because, I mean, if there's some common threads throughout and some really relatable things throughout. And you've really ventured on quite a bucket list journey, like from dance to powerlifting to physique to yoga, Pilates. You can do these some cool tricks like the kip up thing, headstand to kip, which we're gonna see that this week.
Oh, yeah, I'll have to practice that.
Maybe you can teach me how to do that because I've never tried it. I've never tried it.
You would crush it. You would crush it.
But I feel like a common thread is that each time you try something different, it's something you didn't think you were gonna do, and then you end up doing it. Like, You didn't think you were going to be a gym rat, and then you became a gym rat.
That's so
You didn't
true.
think you were going to be a power lifter, but now you're a power lifter. And then, and then you didn't think you would become, the name of this episode is Dancer, Lifter. What's on your shirt there?
HYROX.
HYROX. Oh, it's all the rage these days.
All the rage.
Runner. And I think you told me, like, you didn't ever see yourself as a runner.
Yes.
Is that right? And was this the event that got you to start? Or talk to me about that.
Okay, yes. I was an anti-runner, actually. Like, on my fitness page at the time, I would say things like, running is not for me. Like, don't even talk to me about running. So I was like, no. So basically how I dabbled in it is when I started those outdoor workouts, when I stopped working out at the gym, and I started doing more garage workouts and stuff. Honestly, a big part was Oakley. He needed his like daily walks. He's a big German Shepherd, by the way, so lots of energy. I was outside, and I would always take him on walks. But I felt like I wanted to incorporate a little cardio, and I was thinking, I'm at home. What are my cardio options? It's a beautiful day. Maybe I'll, just go for a run. And when I say I started small, like half a mile, and I was winded, which is crazy because I had danced, but now I had taken a break at this point, for years already. So, and slowly I got a little more, and I'm talking like 1 a week, half a mile, then to 1. I almost died at the 1 mile. I was like, yeah, this is not like for me.
I am an anti-runner.
Yeah, I am an anti-runner. But the other part of me that was like, this is something new for you to do, and you're not a runner because you've never ran type of thing. And I think that mindset just, it's like, just do it again. Just try another mile. Even if you got to walk the half of it, just do it.
Can I pause you for a minute? I think what you just said is really insightful. I'm not a runner because I never ran. Like, that's just like, you can apply that to anything. Like, if you, like that self-talk, like, I'm not this, I'm not that. It's like, well, have you ever tried?
Right.
You got to try first.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I will just say this now, since it was one of the things you had asked me before we started this podcast today. It was something along the lines of, what would I say? What was it? What would I say for those who said I'm not built for it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So like, what would I say to someone who said, oh, I'm just not built for that? Because that's what I told myself for running. Like, I'm not built for running.
Right. I don't have the running gene.
Right. I don't have the running gene, right?
Yeah.
Like, the people who you see that look like they're built for it have built it. Like, that doesn't mean they were always born that way. They have done the work behind it to look like they're built for it, to be built for it, And I think that so rings true. Like, if you haven't done it before, how do you know if it's for you or not? And not just the first time.
Right.
Like, no one's good at it the first time. It's going to take multiple times at anything to be good at it. And for me, that's what I had to come to terms with in running. Because as soon as I started getting even 30 seconds faster only, like on a mile, well, obviously I can get better at it because I've already improved 30 seconds. And I think it sparked an interest, the challenge. If you haven't noticed, I like the
I have noticed, and I've
like
definitely noticed that pattern. It's a very awesome pattern.
Thank you. So with Colorado, it was here and there. It was here and there in once in a while when I wanted a little bit of cardio. I did a mile. I did a mile and a half. I did 2. I think I didn't go past 3 miles for that whole year. But because for me, it was just like once in a while, just seeing. And then ultimately, HYROX came up in July. And I was peer pressured.
By
my husband and my coworker.
By 2 people.
By 2 people.
Tim is always involved in, not always, he's been involved in 2 of your transformations.
Such a troublemaker, that guy. Yeah. Basically what happened is my coworker does HYROX. And he's so cool. He's like, does all the challenges.
Is he like Mr. CrossFit kind of guy, or?
Strength and conditioning. He is like hardcore strength and conditioning, and he's led strength and conditioning classes for over a decade, like in his hometown where I'm working now. So he like eats these challenges up. I never even heard of HYROX, and he got my husband on it. And then all of a sudden my husband's like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever. And Sarah, they do doubles, like a guy and girl, we should do it. And I was like, oh, I don't know. Because if you haven't heard of HYROX, it's essentially 8 strength and conditioning stations. Each one, before each one is a kilometer run, which is like 0.6 miles. So it ends up being a little over 5 miles plus these 8 strength stations that are, to me, were very hard. Like, you have a 1,000 meter on the ski erg, and then you have a sled push with a set amount of weight, a sled pull with a set amount of weight. You have a rowing for 1,000 meters. You have sandbag lunges, farmer's carries, burpee to broad jumps for a certain amount of distance, and then 100 wall balls at the end. And it's all set weight. And for me, it was a disadvantage, I'll say, is if I do it with Tim, you have to do the guy's weight.
Oh.
And so now put that all together, and
That's
I
pretty
haven't
awesome.
been, it's very awesome.
Yeah.
Put that all together, and I haven't been in the gym to lift heavy weight like that, just with what I
In
have
a
at
while.
home for, now it's been 2 years at this point. So, and I'm not a runner, right?
Yeah.
I'm just someone, now I'm considering myself someone who just runs here and there.
I'm in the occasional. I dabble.
Exactly. So I was like hesitant about it because I'm the type of person, when I set my mind to do something, I want to do it well. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a flaw, maybe a little bit of both. I have a hard time, like,
Double-edged sword.
Double-edged sword, maybe a little bit.
You just got to wield it right.
Yeah, I just got to wield it right.
Yeah.
So ultimately what happened is, me being the type A person and Tim much more go with the flow, it came to the day of sign up, which apparently it's very hard to get the ticket because it goes so fast, because it's so popular, especially in the Dallas area.
And he was like, oh, we'll be fine.
Huh? Well, he forgot about it.
Oh, he forgot about it.
He didn't even know that was the day. But me, like, I'm keeping all the dates in my mind, and I shoot him a text, and I'm like, hey, I think that sign up is to, well, I not think I knew, but I was trying to be, casual.
Yeah, you were being soft with your language.
I think the sign up is today. And he's like, oh yeah, like, let me look right now. And then it's like, oh my gosh, it's in less than an hour is the sign up, and I'm at work in like the middle of a project, and he's calling me up. So do you want to do it? And I started immediately panicking, honestly, because we hadn't really talked about it if we were going to do it yet. But under the time pressure, ultimately, I was like, let's do it.
Do it.
Let's just do it. So that was on July 3rd. I don't know, I remember that, but I told you I'm good at dates.
Yes, you are good at dates.
July 3rd. And the competition was November 22nd. So I was like, okay, 5 months, decent amount of time. Mm-hmm. We're gonna do this. So I ended up garage. We did the garage gym. I wrote a program to do this HYROX training in the garage gym. We didn't own a ski erg. We didn't own a rowing erg as well. And we just had basics like dumbbells and a barbell with a few like weights. And from this program, this is when the running became bigger than what I had been doing. That's when I came from a random 1 mile, 1.5, maybe a 2. We started at 3 when we did the HYROX training, and every single week I added a little bit on. I'm talking like, because it was hard for us. And July outside in Texas, these workouts were about in 100-degree weather, which we also were not used to, considering we grew up in Chicago. So I'm talking like we did 3 miles, then 3.2, then 3.4. It was that small. But we got to it eventually when we hit the 5 miles, and we kept trying to go forward, and it all worked out. Like it was a challenge, and as it's supposed to be, but it was such a cool experience. Nothing like I had done before, and it brought back like the nostalgia of doing my dance competitions, like doing something for time, like where you're really trying to beat, something. So that was really
perform well within a restricted time period.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And so cool that you were just telling me you are considering another one.
Yes, because you know what? Now we want to beat our time. So
the competitive nature.
Now, anyone who might see HYROX now, those wall balls where you have the ball and you squat to throw to a target.
Sure.
So this was something, and it's a learning curve. It's just part of the thing. If you haven't done something before, you don't know what you don't know. That's what Tim always tells me. It's a great reminder to me. You don't know what you don't know. And with these wall balls, I didn't know that I had to hit the middle of the target for the sensor to count it. I thought I could
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I thought I could just hit anywhere on the thing.
So you also have to be precise with it, huh?
So I have to be precise with it. And then I also didn't know that there was some thing showing you how many reps. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. I was counting in my head. And there's people behind you this entire competition watching you to make sure that you're doing things correctly. And the lady behind me was like telling us, you got to go, lower. And I said, okay. So I was going lower, but I didn't know I wasn't hitting the center of the thing. So in my mind, I was at about 77, 78 reps. And the lady behind me goes 50, like saying I just hit 50. My arms are already about to fall off. This is our last station before we finish this race. I could tell we had been at this station longer than we had like sped through every station in this competition. And this one, I could tell we had been there for a while. And I started to like fatigue, like my arms started to give out. So me and Tim were splitting. So instead of switching off every 25, which was the goal, it was like 5 to 7. I was like, okay, my arms like need a break.
Yeah.
So ultimately we finished. We got the 100, but it was our longest station. And I think if we had known then what we know now, we could, I mean, I'm talking significant. I'll just be transparent with you. The wall balls took us a little over 6. Imagine doing wall balls for 6 minutes. It was torture. Versus
Sounds
our
awful.
Other stations were between a minute and 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
So doing that as the last station, like, just killed us, like, our body.
Oh, man.
But that being said, we're like, hey, we know an easy way.
Yeah.
We can bring this time down.
Now you know.
Now we know.
What you know.
Exactly.
And that alone, you should be able to beat your time.
And we're still happy with it. We beat our initial time goal. So.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. So that
even doing bonus wall balls.
Yeah, even doing bonus wall balls. So everything works out. It's the first time, like, again,
I'm surprised that nobody said to you, like, no rep, or something.
Yeah, you know, I will.
Or maybe you were just so tunnel vision.
Maybe I was so tunnel vision. And it could be because we were back to her front. I couldn't really hear her. So if she was talking kind of quiet. Yeah. So if she was saying that, maybe she was. I couldn't hear it.
Or maybe she thought it was hilarious. Just
like
they're doing
maybe
a lot of
she
wall
was
balls.
preying on our downfall. I don't know. We made it to the end.
That's amazing. I could like feel the experience because I've been doing some conditioning workouts recently with some sled pushes, and what you described is harder than what I've been doing. So I'm like, my heart rate was going up listening to it. I could imagine how challenging that was. It
was, but you know what? The atmosphere kept me going.
Yeah.
It's so, I mean, one thing I wasn't expecting when I went is how supportive the community of HYROX was. Mm-hmm. The amount of people that were in the line to compete was just as long as the line as people to observe.
That's pretty cool.
And that is what I wasn't expecting. So when you get in, it's a ring of the runners. And then the inner thing is all of the strength. But the kind of, what do you call it, in between the inner and outer ring are the spectators. Uh-huh. And there's just hundreds of them. And they're shouting and they're excited and they're cheering on their people. And even though Tim and I like didn't have anyone there for us specifically, I felt their like excitement for the competitors. Yeah. And it really did like keep me going. Like every time I went around, I was like, I want them to see me having a good time. Even though they don't know me, they might not even be looking at me. But I want them to see me have a good time and pushing through, like enjoying it and challenging myself. And that kept me going.
Man, so 1 is anti-runner, 10 is full-blown runner, scale of 1 to 10. Where is Sarah on January 4th, 2026, when you hear runner?
Wow, that's a good question. I'm going to say a 6.
A very hesitant 6.
Well, I was like thinking 6 to 6.5. And this is because I've continued to run after HYROX.
Yeah. Okay.
I even got running shoes. That's got to be a milestone for people who run. Right?
You are becoming a runner.
Like, I feel like if you have a pair of shoes specific to running, that's got to give me another point, I think.
That totally gives you a point.
And I did hit my very first 10 miles the other week in a row, like I did. Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Yes. So,
nonstop. Wow.
That for me was huge.
That's huge.
That for me was huge. So, and I have goals to continue.
And just to rewind, you would run a half mile and be winded.
Literally winded. Oh my gosh.
And that was just like, what, a year or 2 ago?
Yeah.
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 And now you're running a 10 miler.
So now I've only done it once. But I have been like I said, adding that little bit every week is something I've continued to do. I think something that would put me up on the running scale is being more frequent. But I'm doing what I can right now. You know, I teach a lot of fitness classes. You know, body can only take so much. So I'm only doing about 1 a week. Yeah. Sometimes 2 if I have time. They'll be really short one.
You're a recreational runner.
Recreational, yeah. But with that one, I'm adding on. Tim now is into running. So
pretty cool.
I
think I saw on your story that Oakley is into running too. I saw him tied to Tim's waist.
I'm telling you, he is like our little pride and joy. He did that HYROX as much as me and Tim did.
That's pretty cool.
Every single workout that we did in the garage, he was there. A lot of times we did laps just in our little cul-de-sac to get like the feel, and he ran them with us. Mm-hmm. He can run a long time with us. So I feel like we got him a special badge at the HYROX.
Yeah.
He deserved it because he really trained. He kept us going. In a lot of ways, he motivated me to run because Oakley stays in front of me on these runs. I put him around my waist too when I run, and he's always pulling me. And sometimes he brings down my pace, like in a positive, like meaning
he makes you faster.
He makes me faster because of how fast he is. So he really motivates me to keep me going. I'm not even joking. It sounds
he's your coach.
Yeah, he's made me a better runner. So I have gotten fast with him, and I have plans to. One thing I would like is a little vest to hold like my phone and stuff in. And I did get those Chewies. I think it's the brand Sketch. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I have not.
It helped me a lot during the HYROX and the running. Basically,
is it like electrolytes?
Kind of like to help keep your natural energy up. So especially on like the 10-miler run, I needed them every like 3 miles or so. And then in HYROX, every 30 minutes we took it. So I took it twice for that. But it really helped like hone me back in and use that storage to keep going forward. So I have plans to continue. I did put something on my vision board, David. I got to hear it. We
were talking a lot about vision boards, and I know that you do them a lot, and I might have to do one this year. I don't know. We'll see.
You have to do one. I've made one. Now I was looking back after we talked about vision boards, and I've made one since 2020. Like a legit vision board.
Like every year you've made a vision board?
Every year.
Since 2020.
Yep. And this one, it was someone holding up a sign, and it said, "Hot girls run half marathons." And I'm like, that's gonna be me.
So you're doing a half marathon. You're pretty close. You're only a 5K away.
I figured I'm pretty close, and if I could do that, like without the amazing atmosphere, I think atmospheres of like 5Ks, 10Ks that I've done a few 5Ks are so fun. Like they always motivate me. I think that I could probably do it. Like
you could. Frankly, how did you feel after that 10-mile?
It was hard, but it wasn't the hardest workout of my life.
You're probably capable of going the distance today. I'm not saying we should go do that right now. But like if you did a 10-miler and felt that way.
Yeah, that's true. For me, the biggest thing, if I get a really good warm-up, I think I'm set. Yeah. I don't want to be over cocky. But even just in my current runs, even the 10-mile or 5 miles, if I don't do a good warm-up, these 28-year-old ankles and hips feel it. But if I really warm up, I do feel really good in a run. So I don't think like maybe quite there yet. I would like to do a few more where I have that. It's been working for me, that slow. Yeah, I want to get some. Incremental. Because I'm not recommending you do it, but you probably like in a bind. If for some reason you had to go. Gotta run a quick half marathon. Exactly. Some people when they train don't do the full distance before they do the event. I've heard of that. Yeah. That worries for me. I feel like I think that's kind of cool both ways, though. I think it's cool because then it's like you get that real rush of accomplishment in real time. But my worry war itself, I feel like, what if I... You're like, if I've never done the full dance, why would I go perform? Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So I would like to have even a few under my belt already, knowing... Before you do the official event. And then but competing against myself in the actual event. Yeah. If I've hit a certain time on my own, can I beat that time and do my best, like in one that I paid for and I'm there at the event? That's how I think of it. I think that's awesome. Maybe I'll be a 7.5 next year out of 10. I don't know. Okay. Maybe next time we talk, you'll have run a half marathon. Maybe. It's on my vision board. Yeah. So once it's on my vision board, I really try to make it happen for myself. So I feel like now it has to happen. Yeah. And now I've said it on your podcast. So. Yeah, so now there's accountability with my entire audience. Exactly. I was going to ask what else is on your bucket list. So it sounds like a half marathon's on your bucket list. By the way, cheers. Yes. Oh, hey, and before you answer that, I wanted to point out, we've got this here, these pastries. And the reason that I was inspired to bring these today is because I know part of your philosophy is to not sacrifice the joys in life that might be considered unhealthy in order to live a healthy life. I'm wondering if you could speak to that a little bit. Oh my gosh, yes. I'm actually snacking on my birthday cake. Yeah. Macaron right now. I love sweets. What are these? Bear Claw? These... Do you know? Can you tell? Let's see. These look like Bear Claws because they have almond in it. And then these are mini cannolis. And then macarons. This one looks like an apple, I think maybe. Maybe cherry for this one? Yeah, this is like giving a little cherry Danish. But I do see some cream on there too. So. And I do remember when you were an intern, you discovered... a lot of really amazing places to go to get some baked goods. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love sweets. Sweets has been something that I've loved since I was little. It's always been part of my life. My mom, like even before I was born, loved to bake. And I think that was just completely instilled like in my personality, really.
Yeah.
I've just, like, my friends who know me know that I'm just someone who loves sweets. And one thing that I think has really helped me still have a great relationship with sweets despite fitness being such a big part of my life is the way I grew up. One of the first questions I think you asked me like today is who I was before fitness. And I know I made a joke being regular girl, but meaning like life was very regular. There was no workout. There was no diet. It was us just being in my whole family.
You just ate what you ate and did what you did.
Yeah. Like I never heard the word, diet or, eating healthier. And I learned a lot along the way, I think, in college, which has helped me, I think, learn a lot more about what's going to fuel me best to feel my best. But on the other end, because that was something that was never in my mind, I never created a relationship with food that made it hard for me to enjoy sweets. However, when I was in that hardcore fitness space, I noticed it did start to shift that way a little bit. And I never stopped loving sweets. I always loved my dessert. But
the relationship got a little fractured.
The relationship changed a little bit. It was a lot of, oh my gosh, how much sugar is in here? And I started getting a lot of the zero sugar everything. It basically, for lack of better terms, zero sugar syrup, zero sugar, the protein bars, cookies that are supposed to taste like a real cookie, and they taste awful, like in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah, like Halo Top ice cream, and I love regular ice cream.
Yeah.
So, and it works for some people, but for me, it wasn't working for me mentally, but also physically. The not natural sugar actually messed with my stomach and my gut. I started to actually get pretty unwell from eating how much of it I was. Didn't know that at the time, but I learned that later on. So all that to say, I've really evolved with my fitness and nutrition. And after I kind of got out of that extreme mindset, which was just a little at a time, I started realizing I can still eat all the things I've always loved, still maintain everything I've done in fitness, and even beyond that, I can have new challenges and meet new milestones in fitness and still get the best I've ever, felt physically and mentally, and still have all of those foods I like. Is it just making it work for you? That's what I had to do. I had to see, well, what worked for me. And for me, I have my little sweet treat every day. I used to do, I know it was really popular. I feel like a cheat day. I feel lots of fitness people have done that before. It didn't work for me. And I think I saved... You're
like, every day is going to be a cheat day.
Yeah. I was like, I need my treat every day.
My cheat snack.
Yeah.
You probably even like that terminology.
I like treat. Yeah. I just have
call
a treat.
Yeah.
I just call it my treat. It's for me, it's not cheating because it fits. I'm not setting myself back in any way.
I just call it part of the plan.
Yeah, part of the plan. Yeah. I love that. It's just part of my life. It's just something that I love. It doesn't set me back because I have it in my moderation, and I'm not lessening anything else I'm doing. I'm still moving my body and feeling good and eating lots of healthy food throughout the day. What is, a little bit of a treat going to do? Nothing. It's going to make me feel happy that I treated myself and that I had something I enjoyed. And that's something I will live by, forever, because I am a firm believer that health is supposed to add to your life. It's supposed to add joy or whatever that person is looking for. And to me, that is something that adds joy to my life, and it doesn't take away from me in any way.
Right.
So I feel like people need to find, what adds joy to their
It doesn't have
journey.
to be a this or that.
Right.
You made it a this and a that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I know you helped a lot of your clients. I know there was a period where you were really prolific with making content about that.
Yes.
And you helped a lot of your clients with that approach.
Yes, I hope I did. I really did try. Because it is so important to me. It rings true for me, I think, because I saw what it can feel like to put something on a pedestal or put something with a negative connotation. And it can get very easy to not only stay in that mindset, but with social media nowadays, it can support whatever you're looking for,
For sure.
So if someone looks up, is this bad for me? Yes, it's terrible. This is going to happen and this is going to happen. And it messes with your mind. You're like, what is true? What is not true? What's going to help me? What's not going to help me? People are just doing the best they can to find the information that they can to reach their goals. And if they keep getting information out there that this food is bad, this is going to do this to you, that's what they're going to think, And sometimes I feel like it really helps to have someone outside of that kind of
that
source,
noise.
Yeah, that noise, and show like this, if this is what you want, like this, you can make this work for you, and just kind of holding their hand through that a little bit to show them how life can work for them in a way that fitness and health is adding to their life, and it's not costing them to restrict out all the things that they enjoy,
Right.
because ultimately, like, no one restricts forever.
No.
You know, maybe for a long period of time, but not forever.
Right. The waterfall or the cliff will come at some point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you can just find a way to make it sustainable for yourself, like the earlier, the better. You know?
Right. Don't make it a forbidden fruit type thing.
Right.
Just make it part of the, like, this isn't going to be like
I mean, I'm actually
the
gonna have
core of your diet.
so
Yeah, of course. But like, it can be part of your diet. And maybe it should be. Maybe it's better in some cases that it is.
I advocate yes.
Yeah.
Because I love dessert.
Yeah. So
I'm not like a salty tooth.
Even like the most elite physique trainers, like physique performers. I was talking in another episode, Phil, PRM Swalstrom, Alyssa's, he is a physique guy, and he talks about like that's a season, like performance season. Sometimes you have to get really restrictive, and he used the phrase like, and like when you're in that world after the event, all you want is just to be a regular person again. And eat the cookie, you know? And so like even someone like him who's in that world, most of his life he's having that stuff. It's just when he's getting ready for game time or a photo shoot or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that makes a good point though, is that for me, the average person who's not training for something or not doing something professionally and stuff, this works for me. I also understand that when, like you said, someone's doing something for a photo shoot, or maybe it's part of their work. Yeah. Even like a professional player of some sort, those things, or like a bodybuilding competitor. One of my very good friends, she's an amazing competitor, and she has periods where, you know, she can't. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that's forever. Right. It doesn't have to be there forever.
In fact, it almost never is.
No, usually that day after they compete, right? It's like a tradition to go. She had a box of a dozen donuts, which looked amazing. And then we got like huge burgers that were like as big as your head. Yeah. Right. Afterwards. So yeah, it has like, I think it has a place as long as you make that plan.
Part of the plan. Yeah. And like you said, like the everyday person just trying to live a happy, healthy life, this is not going to, right.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely won't. So, all right. Well, sorry.
No, go ahead.
The last thing I was going to say that is I can't remember where I heard it, but I love the notion of if you have like one salad, it's not going to make you like lose weight overnight. Right. Just like having a dessert's not going to make you gain weight overnight.
Right. I had a salad this month.
Yeah. But it's true.
All right. That's a great point. Yeah. Having a salad every now and then is not going to help you, and having a pastry every now and then is not going to hurt you.
Exactly. Right. Well worded.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, before we went on, anything else you want to say about that? Because I know that it's an important message that you'd like to get out there.
I think we said it very well. Like keeping it simple, I think is good for that. Not overcomplicating it. Like, you know, if you want it, it's part of your plan.
Cool.
Just enjoy it.
I love it. Yeah. Make it part of the plan. So before we were talking about that, I was asking you what else is on your bucket list, and obviously it's on your vision board, a half marathon. What else is on your bucket list? I mean, gosh, Sarah, you've had so many cool seasons of fitness, and it's really cool to reflect on this with you. And it seems like almost every time it scares you a little bit.
Yes, but I think it's good.
Yeah, in a good way.
I think it's good, yeah. I don't genuinely like enjoy the feeling of being like scared or nervous to do something, but I always feel like it's a good thing because that means I'm working towards something, and that means I feel like it means I'm trying to push outside my comfort zone. Mm-hmm. And I've seen that's something that resonates with me a lot. I see lots of visuals of me being inside the comfort zone and then the growth that happens outside of it. Yeah. So even though I think it's really great to feel cozy and comfortable in some places, in other places, it's for me, I want to feel like I'm pushing out. Like my life's just getting started. You know, I got like there's so much time. And for anybody, if you're thinking about change or growing, that means it's not too late for you. That means that you can still,
for sure,
like, you know, push forward. We talked about a few things on my bucket list. So like the ballroom's one of them.
Right. So in the dance world, you've got ballroom.
So in the dance world, I got ballroom, beating our HYROX time.
Okay. Yeah.
So we want to do that this year, and then half marathon. So those I would say are my three biggest.
So you've got fitness. Dancer, lifter, and you got all four of the things we said. Dancer.
Oh yeah.
Well, I guess HYROX you didn't do much lifting, right? So dancer, HYROX, and running, you've got more bucket list.
Yeah, with the HYROX will be more increased strength training because
Sure.
some of the things like a little leg power on the sled pushes was hard.
Yeah.
So I think that will come with the strength and the HYROX. So those are my main. I think that will keep me very busy for 2026 in terms of fitness for my fitness goals and nutrition, things to help power my fitness. We love cooking, so I'm just trying to do. I really want to take a cooking class.
Okay.
This year. Yeah, because I'm a huge baker.
Uh-huh.
Baking is like one of my favorite hobbies ever. I've baked plenty in 2025, but I want to get a little more into the cooking side. Tim and I love watching culinary videos, like cooking shows.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen Chopped. We love Chopped.
I have seen bits and pieces.
we love those kinds of shows. So there's actually a chef in Dallas. I've been watching his YouTube for years. Joshua Wiseman. He makes really good like recipes. I have his cookbooks and stuff like that. So I'm really wanting to do some more cooking this year and finding ways like to fuel us because we don't eat out a lot. So fueling ourselves like from home is big for us, especially for our workouts, like before what we eat and after. So that's something that I really want to like hone in on this year too. So that's definitely on my bucket list.
Man, that's such a gift that you both enjoy cooking.
I know. I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky that Tim does because with my current position, I get home so late, or late for me, about 8 o'clock, which for me is late to eat dinner.
Yeah.
I used to always eat dinner at around 6. So he does most of the heavy lifting right now, to be honest with you, for dinner because when I get home at 8, like, whew, that's a little late for me to be cooking.
Yeah. So he's already getting it started.
Yeah, so he's already usually got it done. But for me, when I have my days off, I think that's when I can take my time to build that new skill for myself. And I want to contribute too. Yeah. I used to always be like the cook in the house. Yeah. But now it's him because my days are later.
Well, there you go. It's a team effort.
So team effort.
And you both enjoy it, which is huge.
Yes. He's actually gotten so good.
Yeah?
Like I need to catch up with him now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's making steak with chimichurri.
Hey.
And I'm like, okay now.
Yeah, it's like a fine dining restaurant now.
A little bit. He's even got the plating thing going on.
Wow. Okay.
I know.
He's got Chopped on in the background while he's making.
Literally. So he goes hard. So I'm trying to keep up with him.
That's awesome.
But I do love it.
Going back to what you said earlier about kind of being like going outside your comfort zone, I think that's when like the most meaningful moments are made is when you go outside your comfort zone, overcome a challenge, face a fear, and then if you want to level it up even more, you do it with awesome people that you care about.
Yes.
Right? Like you did HYROX with Tim and your friend, right? And like you did a really cool challenge and you did it with people who you made, like those are like the best memories.
I agree. You know, I think one thing I've learned as I've gotten older that I don't think I really thought about as much before is the social connection portion is huge in fitness. And I think especially when I started in my like gym days, a lot of times it was very solo, like very individual by myself, which is fine. You know, I think that's a great thing too, especially if you're working on personal goals and stuff like that. But in the last like year and a half, when I've gotten more into the social space of fitness, because I teach Pilates classes and yoga classes, and then practicing for the HYROX or training for the HYROX, I should say, and talking about it with a group of people and talking about running with like multiple people. You know, we've talked about doing a run club this year. Yeah. Some of the people at my work want me to start that up. So
the anti-runner is running a run club.
Should I call it that?
Yeah. The anti-running club? Yeah. Maybe. You might attract people who don't view themselves as runners.
That's true. Yeah. But with that being said, is like those things have motivated me. Like I wouldn't have even considered, not that I started yet, but I wouldn't even considered starting some kind of, you know, run club if it wasn't for a group of people who shared, you know, those thoughts with me and seeing, and even on social media, posting as much as I was with fitness and building that community. Like those things mean a lot. They keep you going, they push you, they motivate you, they keep you accountable. In a lot of instances, especially with my clients, they remind me why I do what I do and having the reward of seeing them feeling more comfortable in their own skin or being able to eat their dessert without guilt and still work towards their fitness or see them try new classes that they never thought they would have done. Like those are things very, very rewarding for me and remind me like this social connection is so important. It's so much bigger than just me being better at my goals or me improving my performance, because it's not just me. This is my field. This is what I chose to pursue as my passion. So I get a lot out of seeing how it impacts other people and how I'm able to hopefully help impact other people as well. If that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Well, I mean, even just so I'm part of a friend group that we like a group chat called Broville, and they're all runners. We're all runners. They're all better than me at it. So I'm surrounding myself with people who are better than me in that field. But one of them is a 3-time Ironman. One of them is a 1 or 2-time half Ironman. And then another one has done some other triathlons. And I've done some sprint, like short triathlons. But it's on my bucket list to do a full Ironman. Yeah. And that scares me a lot, actually. And so, but we've decided as a group, four of us in that group have decided that in 2028 we're going to do an Ironman together. So that's like far away, and I know it's going to be here in the blink of an eye, and it scares me a lot. So, but
you kind of had a good setup you were mentioning of like every year you kind of had.
Yes, I do. That's right. So this past year was the year of the half marathon, so I got re-engaged with running again.
You've already done it.
Yeah, I did.
So good.
I got re-engaged with running, and I got the half marathon in, and the big. Another element that has scared me about it is I have a history of getting injured with endurance events. So like I did a marathon back when I was like 22 or 23 in Hawaii, and I got injured during it because I didn't train smart for it. I was like one of those, I'm just going to sign up and do it. I'm fit, I'm young, I'm fit. And I got injured during it and tweaked my knee. And so I became like endurance event averse for a while. So similar to you, starting with baby steps, my goal just became go a distance without getting hurt. And of course I would do strength and conditioning to supplement. So first it was a 5K, and then it was a 10K, and then last year was the year of the half marathon, and I did it without getting hurt. So
that's huge.
So awesome. So this year for me is the year of the marathon. And then next year will be the year of the half Ironman, and then 2028 will be the full Ironman. So
that is so cool.
Yeah.
I love it. So I can't remember if I asked you before, the half Ironman, is that like an actual event, or is that something you do on your own?
No, it's an actual event.
It's an actual event.
Triathlon. I'm learning more about the triathlon world. There's a lot of different.
I don't know a lot about it.
So Ironman is 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike ride, and then you run a marathon as one event.
Jeez.
Yeah, and then the half Ironman is just cut all of those distances in half, exactly in half.
Okay.
And that's the half Ironman. And then there's like I think international distance, which is like swim 1,000 meters ish, bike 12 miles, and run a 5K or something, or run a 10K. And then the shortest distance that I did is called the Beach Bum Triathlon. That's the only one I've done. I've done it twice.
I love it.
It's you swim 500 meters, you bike 6 miles with a beach cruiser on the beach, and then you run a 5K.
Which one of those three are the hardest?
For me, swim.
Me too.
Swim by far. Yeah.
That is cardio like no other.
It is. In fact, just this past summer, I had been training in the pool and got that down good, and I didn't do any open water swim training, and this triathlon was an open water swim, and I started to panic when I got out there, and I was only like 100 meters in, so I actually swam to where it was more shallow and did like a walk swim, and I couldn't tell you what caused it. I don't know if it was all the people or just like I couldn't see with the goggles, or honestly I was not expecting. I had done that event before, like 10 years ago, so I didn't get scared back then, so I wasn't expecting that moment to happen.
Yeah. Sometimes you just don't. You just roll. You roll with the punches, though. That's what you did.
So I did. I just swam to the deep or shallow, and I went the distance, and then the bike and the run were no problem. Yeah.
Oh my! That's awesome. You still finished.
Yeah.
Was that here?
It was here on Hilton Head. It's a fun event.
That sounds really cool.
It's a really good gateway event for triathlons because it's such a short distance, and you're on the beach, and it's like it just feels fun.
Do you have to travel for the half Ironman or the Ironman when it comes up?
We will. So we're leaning towards in 2028. I think it's Baltimore. It's somewhere in Maryland that we're gonna do. So
in Maryland.
In Maryland.
Oh, you're gonna crush it.
Yeah.
You're gonna do. Oh, you might motivate me. I don't know. The swimming's hard for me. I used to be a lifeguard. That was my first job.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I feel like I barely passed the swim.
Yeah.
Like I'm a good swimmer, but
shortest bursts.
Oh my gosh, the cardio was so hard, and then you have to lift the brick from the bottom of the 12 feet and swim it to the top, and then you have to tread for like 3 minutes with your hands out. Yeah, and the cardio. I was like,
you swimmer. Passed. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was like years ago.
Yeah, but that's a common. Okay, but Sarah, this is your common story, is it's been a while since you've done something, and then you're motivated to do something, and then you go next level.
Gotta put my mind to it.
Exactly. Maybe after the half marathon, you'll dabble with triathlons.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, you want to know what my hardest...
Maybe you'll be in the Ironman group in 2028.
At the same year you're doing it?
Yeah, why not?
Maybe 2030. You know?
2030.
I'll just see where I am.
Yeah, maybe the half Ironman.
Maybe the half. I have to do a marathon first because you said a marathon's part of it.
It is.
Of the Ironman.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can do it, if I complete a full marathon, I would consider training for that.
Okay.
You know, if I feel good with that.
That sounds good.
We'll do the half
We'll
first.
revisit the conversation.
Yeah. So I was going to say, do you know what my most difficult fitness experience was?
No, what's that?
So, you know how you just mentioned about the water?
Yeah.
And it was here in Hilton Head,
you
said. Okay, that was my hardest fitness experience.
Swimming?
No, I was paddleboarding.
Oh, paddleboarding.
And I was paddleboarding, and we were...
Was this when you were an intern? Like you were leading a trip?
Huh? Yeah, I was going to leave that part out. But we were paddleboarding, and we had a non H3 worker. It was a random guide that we had. And at the time, I was 21. He looked probably, I don't know, maybe my age. Mm-hmm. And he was guiding all of us, which was great. And we're paddleboarding. I think it was one of my first times, too. But I was still pretty strong, you know. I was going. And we were going pretty far in, and then a couple of ladies were like, "It's looking a bit gray." I think I saw, you know, a drop. But we kept going. So at this point, we're like 30 minutes out. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, we have to turn around. I think it's going to start storming right now." We all start panicking a little bit, and we start paddleboarding back. It was the scariest thing for me because it did start storming like no other. It was raining so hard you could barely see in front of you. And we were in this, I don't know what you call, little river. Like, it was very controlled.
Yeah.
But we had to leave that and go back to shore. So it was like a little river, and then you have to leave it to get through shore. And there was like a huge brick wall here, but you had to get, however long it was kind of far.
Yeah. And
the wind was so bad that it was pushing us back. Luckily, the ladies we were with, they were strong as ever. They were paddling, but we were all struggling. And it was like every man for his own, because we were like, if you stopped even for a second,
the wind would push
you back, or it would push you out to sea, you know. And that was really scary. And I remember a few times, and this is before I was lifting a lot for my upper body.
And it's a lot of upper body.
It was a lot of upper body.
And core, which helped Dan's help.
I did have the core, but my arms started to give out. And there was 2 times where I stopped paddling because I felt like my arms couldn't take it. And I started to move. And I had to mentally tell myself, like, Sarah, you need to start paddling, and you just need to keep going until you get to the shore and not stop. Like, even if your arms are burning, it's okay. Let that, like I just say, let them burn,
right.
You know? And I was like with a couple people. We got there, and I was able to go out to my knees and help some people in, but that was actually the most like taxing thing I've done, maybe because the adrenaline part of it too. I think I had
and there were some stakes
worry.
there.
I think because I usually have no stakes. But that was crazy, and my arms were so sore the next day, like more sore than I have ever felt in my life.
Wow.
Even more than the HYROX.
Wow.
Isn't that kind of crazy?
That's
I think
wild.
I was tensing while I was doing it.
Oh my gosh.
I know. It
wild.
was wild, but in a good way. Like, I feel prepared if something like that were to happen again. Like, we all kicked into high gear.
You have what it takes.
It's good to know that you have what it takes.
Yeah.
Because you don't know until I couldn't be here right now. I could be.
That's right. You might still be out there.
That's
on some cruise ship or pirate ship. Or
I know, for real.
Picked up. Oh my gosh.
Funny. I know. So that was the toughest one.
Well, Sarah, what words of wisdom would you give to anyone listening out there? They're hearing your story about all the amazing things you've accomplished, all the fears you've faced, the challenges you've overcome. So I guess there's 2 ways that I want to ask this question.
Okay.
So 2 parts. Part 1, and maybe you'll say the answer is the same, or maybe you'll say it's different. So that's why I'm going to ask both at the same time. Part 1 is, what words of advice would you give to Sarah back in the day, when you're first entering into the fitness space? Knowing what you know now, what words of advice would you give yourself? And second is, what words of advice would you give to someone who's got something on their bucket list? They're afraid to try it. They're not sure if they have what it takes. They're not sure if they're built for it. They don't know if they should take that step.
Ooh, okay. Maybe those would be slightly different.
Okay.
So for the first one, to what I would tell my earlier self, but I would still give this advice to anyone as well, is never be afraid to start something new or to take on a new challenge, because you don't want to box yourself in, right? Getting out of that comfort zone is really important for growth. You don't want to stay complacent. I believe that our fitness journey is lifelong, no matter what age you're at. It's never too late to evolve or to learn a new skill or to challenge yourself. And it's only going to happen if you take on new experiences and new challenges. And I wish I told myself that earlier, because I think I could have saved myself a little bit of frustration thinking I'm doing something wrong, or feeling like because I already said I identify as this, now I have to stay this. And I'm so glad I was able to break out of that, because look where it's brought me. I'm trying so many new things, and it might change again. In 2 years, I might be doing something different, but that's okay, because I think that our fitness journey really reflects what season of life that we're in. And I think that's good, because as humans, we're supposed to evolve and roll with the punches. And I think it's a good thing. So that's what I would say. Don't box yourself in. Don't be afraid to challenge yourself or start something new. And kind of similar to the second question you asked, which is for someone who thinks they're not built for it or scared to try something new.
We're talking to you.
we're talking to you is really the same answer I kind of had earlier, which is if you don't think you're built for it, it's just because you haven't built it yet. Try it. Start somewhere. Starting somewhere is always going to be better than not starting at all. And you never know until you try. And seconding on to that is don't just try it once. Try it multiple times and really give it the true shot it deserves. Everyone's a beginner the first time that they try something. You never know what's going to come out of it. But give yourself the grace to make mistakes and to fail a few times, to give yourself that chance to really succeed in that, because most likely you will. Like people who keep trying, they don't fail. They succeed. You will succeed if you keep trying it. So that's what I would say, I guess, for that.
I love that. I mean, what you just said I know lately in our conversations I've been referencing a mentor of mine. I'll give him a shout out, Dr. Michael Brown. This is directly from what you say. I feel like what you said is similar to something he says all the time, which is you're not going to wake up one day having become someone you haven't been becoming.
Yes.
And what you just said about you got to build the foundation first before you got to become it before you're going to be it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not challenge that, but I add to that is I love the mantra, show up as the person that you want to become. Yeah. And it's almost a little bit fake it till you make it, to be honest, a little bit. But if you don't think you're that person, you can just act. How would that person act? And I think that little trick in itself, you might talk more that way. You might dress more like that person. You might try a habit that person would do. And all of a sudden you do what your mentor says and you start doing those actions and become that person. Yeah.
The show, I love that. Because in the fake it till you make it, the way I like to think about it is you're not pretending to be someone you aren't. You're practicing to be the person you're excited to be. Yeah, I love that. You're not lying to yourself. You're becoming that self. Yeah, you're acting. But
you're doing the actions.
Yeah, I love that. That person. I love that. Sarah, anything else? I want you to have the last word here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, first of all, for really having me on here and for giving me this opportunity to share a little bit about my story. You're so amazing and you're bringing so many amazing things to the table. I feel like you need your own episode of just yourself saying all the amazing things that you've done.
Oh, well, thank you.
Fitness and life, because it's really awesome. I hope to the person watching that this could inspire you in something that you've always been wanting to try, that this gives you that little push to do it and get out there and to try that new skill. You'll never go wrong trying something new. But yeah, I just really appreciate you having me on. And thank you so much.
Sarah, cheers to that.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And after I sip this here, Sarah, thank you so much for joining today. And for those of you watching, thank you so much for tuning in today. We hope you enjoyed listening to this conversation. I know I enjoyed so much hearing more about Sarah's story. She is such a fascinating person, and I can't wait to see what comes next for her. Maybe we can get her to join in a triathlon or an Ironman event. We'll see. But as always, thanks for tuning in today, and comment below. What other conversations would you like to hear from this podcast? What's on your fitness bucket list? I'd love to know what's on your fitness bucket list. So thanks again for tuning in. and we'll see you next time.